Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, an economic idea that honestly tells us more about ourselves than it does about our bank accounts. It's called the red lipstick effect, and it's all about why, when times get tough, we don't actually stop spending, we just get a lot more creative about it. I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever done this? Maybe it wasn't a lipstick. Maybe it was a really nice coffee, or a fancy candle, or that chocolate bar you wouldn't normally buy. You know that feeling, right? Getting that small, affordable pick-me-up when everything else feels a bit chaotic? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So, here's the official breakdown. The red lipstick effect is this really interesting pattern where during a recession, people tend to buy fewer big, expensive luxury things, and instead, they buy more small, affordable luxuries. So, instead of splurging on a designer handbag, they might go for a high-end lipstick. It's that little bit of indulgence that gives you a huge emotional boost without, totally wrecking your budget. To really get to the bottom of this, here's what we're going to do. We'll start with the history of the idea. Then we'll dig into the psychology behind it, the why. After that, we're taking a trip around the world to see how it looks in different cultures, with a really special focus on France. And finally, we'll look at the numbers and figure out what all of this means for you. So, first things first, where did this whole idea even come from? Well, it wasn't just pulled out of thin air. It actually started with one person's very sharp observation, which then grew into a pretty well-known economic idea. And this is the guy right here, Leonard Lauder. He was the chairman of the cosmetics giant Estee Lauder. So back in the economic slump after the 9/11 attacks, he spotted something really strange. While sales for a lot of his company's expensive products were taking a hit, one little item was just flying off the shelves: lipstick. And that observation led him to create what he called the lipstick index. And what's really wild is that this is not some new thing. I mean, look at this timeline. Go all the way back to the Great Depression in the 1930s. Cosmetic sales actually went up. It's incredible. Fast forward to the 2008 financial crisis, you see the exact same pattern. And during the pandemic, well, things got a little weird. With masks covering our mouths, the effect just shifted. Lipstick took a back seat, but sales of skincare, little perfumes, and nail polish went through the roof. So you see, the product itself might change, but the human behavior behind it, that stays exactly the same. Okay, so this brings us to the really big question. Why? Why do we do this? What's the deep psychological itch that a small 30-euro tube of lipstick can somehow scratch? Let's get into the psychology of it all. So think about it. During a crisis, we feel like we're losing control, right? Big life goals like buying a car or going on a huge vacation suddenly feel completely out of reach. And that leaves this kind of psychological void. A small luxury, like a lipstick, gives us an instant hit of pleasure and a feeling of control. It's a way of saying, okay, I can't control the economy, but I can control this. I can treat myself to this one nice thing. It's a classic example of what psychologists call self-reward behavior. Now, this effect happens all over the world, but if there's one place where it's truly woven into the national identity, it has to be France. I mean, we're talking about the world's capital of fashion and beauty. In France, beauty isn't just a business, it's a part of what they call l'art de vivre, the art of living. And that makes their reaction to hard times especially fascinating to look at. This slide just lays it out perfectly. For a lot of French consumers, a 30-euro lipstick is so much more than just makeup. It's a symbol. When a 300-euro designer dress is just not going to happen, that small, elegant lipstick gives you a taste of that same world of luxury, that same tradition of quality, for just a tiny fraction of the price. It becomes a little piece of an affordable dream. And this quote just captures that feeling perfectly. It's not about giving up, it's about adapting. The lipstick becomes more than just a beauty product. It's a tool for boosting morale. It's this small, private act of defiance against tough times, a way to hold on to your sense of self, your elegance, and what the French call panache, even when everything feels uncertain. Okay, so France is the absolute classic case. But what's so cool is that this psychological need for a little boost pops up all over the world, just in different ways. So let's take a quick global tour. We'll start back in the USA, where the term was born, and the numbers from the 2008 crisis are just so clear. While sales of those big-ticket luxury handbags dropped by a massive 15%, that little, affordable lipstick, sales jumped up by 11%. That is the lipstick index in action, right there in black and white. All right, now let's hop over to Japan. Here, the effect looks a little different. In Japanese culture, there's such a strong focus on skincare and a more natural approach to beauty. So the affordable luxury of choice isn't a bold lipstick, it's a high-quality face cream. During their big recession in the 90s, sales of Shiseido's skincare products saw a staggering 17% growth. It's basically the skincare effect. Now look at this number, 40%. What do you think that represents? This was the absolutely mind-blowing growth in online lipstick sales in China, right at the peak of the 2020 lockdowns. So even when no one could go out and people were wearing masks, the desire for that emotional reward, that tiny act of self-care was so strong it fueled a massive e-commerce boom. Over in the UK, the idea gets even broader. They call it feel-good spending. It's not just about how you look, it's about creating a feeling of comfort and coziness. So along with lipstick, sales of things like premium chocolates and nice scented candles also tend to go up during tough economic times. It's all about creating your own little sanctuary. And the pattern just keeps going. In India, you see it with affordable jewelry and creams. In very pragmatic Germany, it's less about luxury brands and more about smart indulgence, finding high-quality but budget-friendly makeup. And in Iran, where people are dealing with intense inflation, small perfumes and accessories become a way to keep spirits up, almost a form of psychological resistance. So, we've been all over the world. Let's try to bring it all together now and look at the whole pattern side by side. This table just pulls it all together so well. You can see how the product of choice is different everywhere you look. But now, look at that column on the right, the psychological motivation. Whether it's about tradition in France, or self-care in Japan, or just comfort in the UK, the core reason is universal. It's about finding a small, manageable way to feel good when the big things feel bad. The product is just the cultural flavor of that very human need. So, after looking at all this economic theory and cultural analysis, let's bring it right back home. What does this actually mean for us in our own lives? Ultimately, here's the big takeaway. The red lipstick effect was never really about lipstick. It's a powerful metaphor for human resilience. It's about our amazing ability to find and create these little pockets of joy, beauty, and control, even when the huge forces around us feel completely overwhelming. And that really leaves us with one last question, and this one's for you to think about. When you're feeling stressed or the future feels a little shaky, what's that small, affordable thing you turn to for a little lift? What's your personal red lipstick?